Ken Whiting here, and in this video, I'm giving you my top 5 tips for filming your own paddling adventure. And we're gonna dive right in with the first tip, which is don't take anything on the water that you're not willing to lose or to see get ruined. The reality is that accidents happen. And when you're in a water environment, when you're paddling, when an accident happens with camera gear, it usually means the camera gear is ruined or completely lost. And that's why you have to start simply and affordably. And the simple and affordable way to start is with an action camera, like the GoPro or this one here. This is the DJI Osmo Action. Action cameras, they're not only quite affordable, but they're also very easy to use and they're extremely versatile. In fact, I'd say a lot of you, if not most of you watching this, you may not ever progress or want to go beyond an action camera because you can do so much with these things. They've gotten so good. Maybe you just want a second action camera once you get comfortable filming with the one. But start with one camera, learn some lessons, hopefully not too painfully, and then when you're ready to add another camera in the mix, you can add another camera into the mix, or another toy like a DSLR, or a mirrorless camera, or even a drone. Figure it out first with one of these. Now, on the topic of ruining camera gear, I've been down that road many times. This comes from experience, but a quick tip I can give you if you ever have some camera gear that isn't waterproof, end up in the water. There is a chance that it could survive. The first thing you need to do is get rid of the power source. Completely power that thing down. And I'm not talking about hold the button and power it down. I'm talking about get the battery out so there's no power in that thing. And then you don't want to put power, you don't want to try powering on the device until you're sure it's dry. And that can be, I would give it up to a week or until you truly think it's dry. One of the best ways to dry it at home is throw it into a bag of rice. Rice helps draw the moisture out, and most people have a bag of rice at home. Even better is I would recommend, if you've got a bunch of camera gear, invest in these silica gel packs. They're not expensive. You can get a big bag of them like this at Amazon or Costco for very cheap. And if you ever have camera gear that goes for a swim, then you can throw the camera gear into a bag with all these silica gel packs, and they do a much better job than rice of drawing out any moisture. The last camera that I had go for a swim, it spent a full month in a bag with silica gel packs before all the moisture was out. In particular, it took an extra 3 weeks to get the moisture out of the fixed lens. There you go. Let's move on to tip number 2. Tip number 2 is always tether your camera. What's a tether? Well, it's also referred to as a safety harness. One of these simple, these cables that I got for a couple of bucks on Amazon. I got a pack of like 10 of them for next to nothing. What you're doing is you're connecting the camera to the boat or your body somewhere else, so if the mounting system for the action camera fails, that you're not going to lose the camera. The camera is still going to stay attached somehow to you or to your boat. And this is a tether has saved me many action cameras. In fact, in this sequence right here, you can see I was doing some kayak surfing in Dominica, and the camera's on the front of my boat there. The wave, you can see it breaking, and there goes the camera, knocked off. But the tether is keeping it connected to the boat. Saved my butt. I've had a lot of cameras saved because of a tether, but I've also too often made mistakes without a tether. Just last summer, I was on the Petawawa River, and I got lazy. I had one little small rapid left, and I knew the tether wasn't on, but I decided, you know what? I'm fine. I'll put it on when I stop for lunch just up ahead. And I hit a rock and the camera went shooting off and I lost the camera. Oh, you didn't just do that. And all because I didn't tether it to the kayak. So always use a tether. That camera that I lost on the Petawawa River was doubly painful for me because I broke my third rule. And my third rule is to change the media cards from your camera regularly. In fact, it's hard to change them too often. When I'm on a multi-day trip, as a rule, I change the cards from my cameras every morning. Every camera that I have, the cards come out, new cards go in, so that if I lose a camera or something happens, I'm only losing the footage from that day. Now, if something particularly cool happens or I get some great footage I really don't want to lose, I'll swap the cards right then and there so that I'm not at risk of losing that footage. When I'm flying a drone, I take it even a step further. I'll change the cards after every flight. And that's why you don't need big media cards for action cameras or for drones. They're just the little micro SD cards, which are very affordable. There's no reason to have cards bigger than 128 gigs. If you have more space than that, it means you're just going to lose more footage. And now, going back to that Petawawa River trip when I lost that camera because I didn't tether it to the kayak, I also had forgotten to change the card that morning. And I honestly think it was more painful at the time to lose the footage than it was to lose the camera, because I lost all the footage from the first day of my trip and half of the second day. And that was the camera that I was talking to. So it was really important footage for me. But tether your camera and change your media cards regularly. Now, the fourth tip I have for filming your own paddling adventures is that if you want good quality audio, well, you need to get a lavalier mic or a Lav mic. The problem with using the audio that is on cameras, I mean, all the cameras, action cameras, DSLRs, they have internal mics. But unless that camera is really close to your mouth and there's zero wind, it's not going to do a reasonable job of capturing any audio whatsoever, not just your voice. And usually you have the camera mounted a ways from you so you can get a decent shot, and so the audio is not going to be any good. So what you need to do is get a lavalier mic. Now, a lavalier mic, this is the Hollyland set. The one I'm using right now is DJI Mic 2. There's the Rode Go set. They're all good options, and they all are similar to this Hollyland set. This is actually a charging box, so it charges the units up when I'm not using them. This is the receiver, and so you might need to attach this to your camera depending on how it works. And then you get two transmitters in this case, so I can have two different people mic'd, myself and someone else if I want, and both of their audio will be recorded onto the camera. This just simply clips to your life jacket, somewhere close to your mouth. And the other important thing to do there is whenever you're outside, these big furry windscreens, they might look funny when you see people using them and not very discreet, but they make an enormous difference for cutting down the wind. It really can change the audio from being completely unusable to usable. And so use the windscreen. And this is how it works. It attaches here. There are a bunch of different options, like I said, but the best option right now is actually the DJI mic and the DJI Osmo Action camera. And the reason for that is that I can sync this DJI mic directly with the camera so that the audio is recording directly onto the camera with the footage I'm capturing. The problem with a GoPro is that I can do that, but in order to record the audio directly onto the GoPro, what I actually have to do is you buy this GoPro Media Mod, and you have to take the gate off, attach the Media Mod, and now I attach a receiver to the GoPro, and now I can record my audio directly onto the camera. But by attaching the Media Mod, the GoPro is no longer waterproof. The receiver's not waterproof. And so if you're mounting this on your kayak at any point, the bow of the kayak, anywhere, and a splash comes over it, or you flip, or whatever, if this gets wet, you might lose a whole lot of gear at once. That's why the DJI Osmo Action and the DJI Mic combination is so great, because the camera doesn't need a receiver. It'll sync directly, and so this thing stays waterproof. Now, that being said, your mic isn't going to be waterproof, and so you have to be careful that you keep it protected. Bottom line, mic sets, lavalier mic sets cost around $200 to $300, and it does require a bit more effort to capture good audio, but it can make a world of difference with your video footage. In fact, cameras have gotten so good that even very affordable cameras, like an action camera, can take great footage. And so what separates an amateur filmmaker from a professional filmmaker often isn't the footage, it's the audio. And a lavalier mic for a couple $100 is a huge step towards professional filmmaking. So the fifth tip is about drones, and it's simply to follow the rules for drones if you're going to use one. I love filming with drones. Drones allow me to capture such a diverse range of shots by myself, and you can get a lot of shots in a short period of time because you can just move that camera. It's like being able to move a tripod from one place to the next in no time at all. You get all sorts of different perspectives. Amazing filming tool. But there's some real rules associated. In some cases, you can't fly the drones in certain areas, and you have to follow those rules, because if you don't follow those rules, then there's going to be more rules, and soon we're not going to be able to use drones to film at all. And those rules are there to protect wildlife, to protect people, and to protect people's experiences. And those are all really important things. Now, something to mention with regards to protecting people's experiences, for me, that's really important. Nobody wants to be in a wilderness setting and hear a drone buzzing around them and feel like they're being filmed, even if the rules say you can fly a drone. It's my feeling that you should do whatever you can to minimize the impact you're having on other people's experience, if not completely eliminate any impact that you're having on other people's experiences. And that could very well mean, hey, it's okay by the rules to film in a certain location, but you're not going to film there because it's going to impact other people. I think that's a decision that more filmmakers need to make. In some cases, it might simply mean going up and asking people if they're okay if you do a quick flight, letting them know you're not going to be filming them, that you just want to get some shots, tell them what you're working on, and a lot of the time they will be happy to, they'll be really appreciative of the fact that you asked, and very tolerant of the fact that you're going to spend 10 or 15 minutes buzzing around with a drone. So I personally use the DJI Mini 4 Pro drone. It's extremely light and small and fits. I can take it on any type of paddling trip. So it definitely provides great image quality.
All right.
And one of the cool things is that if I need to, I can also launch it from my kayak or any type of boat.
Thank you.
It is a Class 5 maneuver to do it, but being able to launch and land from your boat really increases the potential for filming with a drone when you're on a paddling trip. And so here's actually a quick mini segment from a trip I did in Lake Superior last summer that shows me launching and landing the drone from my kayak. And you can see all the footage in this clip is footage that I got during that one flight, that 20-minute flight. You can see the variety of shots that can be gathered in a short period of time. Hi. Now you just hold your hand underneath it and you keep pushing down on the joystick, and eventually it'll say, okay, auto land. And you just keep holding down on the controller and et voila. A safe bird. Every time that drone lands back in my hand, I say a little thanks to the powers that be, because I really do feel like I'm rolling the dice every time I launch a drone, and I'm always so happy when I get the drone back and I get the footage back. So there you go, that's all I've got. Those are my top 5 tips for filming your own paddling adventure. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to Paddle TV if you haven't already, and stay tuned. Lots more paddling tips, gear reviews, and paddling adventures, although paddling adventures are going to be on my new YouTube channel, Canoeing Adventures. Be sure to subscribe there, because that's where you're going to also see these adventures that I am self-filming. And I've got a whole bunch coming this season. Once the ice melts off the rivers and waterways, I'll be heading out and uploading some videos real soon. So stay tuned for lots more from Paddle TV and Canoeing Adventures.
No matter where you're from, all around the world, it's one unique, one special vibe.